Greet you all students of third year. This is paper first, unit B, and you must have understood the relevance and symbolical significance of the poem Ring Out Wild Bells, composed by Alfred Tennyson. Now, another poem prescribed in your syllabus is Crossing the Bar. And see, Tennyson, he is regarded as master of lyrics, the poet of lyrics. And each and every lyric, it conveys the important message to the whole humanity. And Crossing the Bar, it is really one of the most commendable poems in the whole range of English poetry. And say, you are students of, say, final year, BA final year, so you should at least know the title of other lyrics, because in examination you may be put up this question: Tennyson as the poet of lyrics, and what are other titles? Even for, say, unit A, it is important, and the section A of your question paper and the short answers. Now the other lyrics, for instance, the brook, tears, idle tears, break, 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 come down into the garden, Maud, and Ulysses. Now, do you remember when we say discuss the important message conveyed by Tennyson? So you must remember, see, Ulysses, that you studied at first year level. And what was the theme? Because Tennyson as a whole, as you know, we discussed this point that as the most representative poet of his age, and relevance of his poems, relevance and symbolical significance even today. And what is the reason behind it? Try to comprehend, students of third year. See, sense and sound and intensity of emotions. So in lyric, actually, when we say delve deep in this particular notion of lyric, so obviously the first feature strikes in our mind is musical quality in lyrics. So through this musical quality, how Tennyson, he tends to convey some message, some kind of dictum, maxim, and axiom to the whole mankind. As in Ulysses, so you just switch on your mind, and you get reminded of important. What was the theme of that? What was the message? Work is worship. And Ulysses as the man of action. The life is ongoing process of a learner. His in a way a passion for knowledge, for adventure. So this is life. When you oneself, you must put yourself in action, and work is worship is the motto. So in the Ulysses, so you must remember that important message. And here, when we discuss the concept of lyric, and even for your personal enrichment, and as well as from the point of view of the examination. Now, what are the keynotes in lyrics? We have some music, melody, tune, and say rhythm and subjectivity. So here we have a look. When you write an examination, here are some important points, students. So keynotes in lyrics, lyric obviously is a poem with musical quality, and the poet's personal ideas, views, they are expressed with intensity of emotion. So we have subjectivity, personal feelings, and the poet's skill in sense and sound. See, take example of, say, you have just studied the poem Ring Out Wild Bell. We have sense. In ringing the bell, there is sound as well as some sense. Okay? So the combination of sense and sound. And even in cloud, sky, light. So this is, I think, very, very prominent feature of a lyric, and especially when we discuss Tennyson as a master of lyrics. And the important message. Now, what is the important message that he tends to convey in this particular poem, Crossing the Bar? So, see, you just, have a look here, Crossing the Bar. And very nice poem, very appealing. I mean, you really enjoy when you study this poem. Now, enjoy means in real enjoyment is real learning. You learn how to, live a life with vision and direction. So here, what kind of message? Yes, obviously we'll discuss in much detail, but you should know that this is an autobiographical poem. And autobiographical poem, it is written when Alfred Tennyson, he completed the age of 81 years. After the completion of 81 years, he composed this poem. Okay, so in the year 1889, just a few years before his departure from this world to the world beyond. So we have allegorical significance of this poem. Okay, now when we discuss the point that the allegorical significance, and as the first, when you write in your examination, we have which kind of poem it is an autobiographical and philosophical. The poet is in philosophical, meditative and contemplative mood, and just before his death. So this is the evening time, and in entire poem we have, say, metaphors, and we have symbols, and we have images. Okay, so in this poem, in the Crossing the Bar, it is written when Tennyson, he completed 81 years. So this is, I think, very, very important point in this poem. And the occasion of, now what is the occasion of the poem? Now the occasion of this poem is that when the poet, the depiction of realistic experience crossing the river Solent. Now he actually, at that time, he was accompanied by his granddaughter Helen. Okay, and he was crossing that particular river Solent, Solent, and the way to this river is from Alford to Frankfurt. And this was his, he was at the time setting the sail, and his journey from Alford to Frankfurt. This is important places, and this is the occasion, the situation of this poem. This is very important. For before commencing the poem, the text, you must have a better understanding of the background of the poem. Okay, so this is the background, that poet himself, at the age which age, yes, 81 years. At that age, he was crossing particular this river. The name of river is Solent, and what was the place? From Alford to Frankfurt. So you just have a look for your students, for your better understanding. Crossing the Bar and the river Solent, and see, this is the name of place, Alford to Frankfurt. Okay, and he was accompanied by whom? His granddaughter Helen. And so this is very important situation. And now this particular situation which caused the reason of composing this poem. And see what happened actually when he was crossing this river and undertaking the journey. setting the sail. So at that time, in the middle point, actually, see what happened. See the dramatic situation, but at the same time realistic. Just at the middle point, see, you just try to understand, comprehend this idea at the middle point. And who was with him? Helen, his very cute small granddaughter. And all of a sudden, what happened? Tennyson, he shouted. He shouted, "What? Oh, Helen, I'm crossing the bar." So middle point of the river, Solent, and he shouted all of a sudden, "I am crossing the bar, I am crossing the bar." So he also burst out into wild laughter. So what is the reason behind it? Yes, we have allegorical significance. Now what is an allegory? Allegory, Allegory. See, when he shouted, "I'm crossing the bar," means from this world to the world beyond at the age of 81. See, this is the last phase of his life. So he was mentally prepared when he, burst out into laughter. And he is, in a way, he is happy. He welcomes death and reaching the world beyond. So allegorical significance, it is allegory, it is a literary device and the expression of poets' views, ideas at the surface level. But it has double meaning. Double meaning at the surface level, the poet, he depicts his journey from this world to the, this Farrington, Alford to Farrington. And he's sailing the ship and all that is journey and crossing the river. So this is at the surface level. But at deeper level, he conveys some moral significance. It has, hidden moral significance. So his journey from Alfred to Farringford at surface level, okay, is that clear? And at the deeper level and metaphorical level, allegorical significance, yes, the poet's departure from this world to the eternal home. Eternal home, the world beyond, God's house, okay? This is what he wants to depict here. And then, so in a way, we have, some symbolical significance. And allegory, it is, you must have idea about its significance. Allegory, this is called allegorical significance. So you just have a look here, and then we would obviously, text is very important. You must be thorough with the text. But for your better understanding, and see, you must have, in the simpler way, with point wise, you would understand, so that your performance and examination will be excellent. Okay, so see, you just, have you got it? This, now what is the name of this river? Solent. Is that clear? And these are two important places. So this is his journey, and so very important. And now we come to the point is allegorical significance. You just have a look here, and he shouted. This was the situation and the reason that the poet, he has composed this poem. And that's why, his son, Tennyson's son, he exclaimed that this is the crown of Tennyson's all the poem. This is the best poem he had ever composed. And allegorical, see the allegory, this is what you must have idea about it. And double meaning, hidden moral significance. And see, as when you would study the text, you know that how the poet, he has undertaken this journey, and his granddaughter Helen, she was with him, and how, and at that time, but see the we have some kind of symbolical significance, allegorical. That poet all the time, he was thinking, oh, he's leaving this world. And see death is very close to him. See the very touching and very appealing point. And See the paradox. People generally, they have this conception when their death, people they have obviously, some lamentation and some kind of say people, they are so moved with this, and the mourning and wailing and weeping at the sad demise of people close one and whosoever be. But here the try to understand your students, the poet, he welcomes death. And that's why he burst out in laughter when he talked to his granddaughter. Okay, so these are, this is the eternal home. So this is very, very, see the philosophical expression of this poem, philosophical and contemplative. But the poet here, he, tends to convey this point, this message, that there should be no lamentation, no weeping. Rather, we should welcome it. So, see when we discuss the point of allegory, see, just have a look here, allegorical significance. So, you must know this point, that your, concept should be absolutely clear about it. That the poet, he really focuses the point, that, and he constantly, when he was undertaking that journey, constantly he was thinking that this is the time of bidding farewell. Why? Because death was very close. See this kind of, the poets, see this commendable attitude, his positive, see the extreme extent of positivity in Tennyson's poems. And it is also reminiscent of, yes, of course, Robert Browning, his robust optimism, ultimate goodness. So here, when in the beginning, do you remember the point when we discussed some important characteristic features? I mean, some important elements reflected in the particular Victorian age. And this is, yes, I mean, this is the staunch faith in religion, in religiosity, in spirituality, and ultimate goodness of God. And yeah, I mean, in these Victorian poets, these are, very, very prominent points that you must always remember. Okay, so then when we, discuss this particular, text of this poem, at that time, we have certain, say, images also, images of evening time. And now, what is the reason that I, discuss this point, that we have a combination of sense and sound? When the poet, he is mentally prepared to leave this world, and rather he was so joyous. And actually the poet, he wants to highlight this point, that at the time of death, or say in the old age, in the evening time, people, they should not be unhappy, and even relatives, they should not weep. Because what is the reason? Here you have to understand the concept of the world beyond. Okay, so this world is, yes, this materialistic world, this world which is tangible, visible, audible, and it is bound by time. But the world beyond is eternal home. So this is the concept that poet here wants to discuss. So this kind of, symbolical significance, and that's why, crossing the bar, it is really one of the finest lyrics composed by Alfred Tennyson. And you see, and yes, another point, that here the bar actually, the harbor with sands and scattered over there. So we have, this is the And in metaphorical significance, yes, ship, human soul. And another, theme is immortality of soul. Yes, we will discuss other points and we'll continue this poem. Thank you.